This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Tilani Pires. Udaya Gammanpilla and Vimal Veeravansha have been removed from their ministerial portfolios. Ukraine and Russia prepare for second round of talks as battle continues. The foreign minister meets UN Human Rights Commissioner. The Laughs Gas Company is trying its best to provide uninterrupted LP gas supply. The ambassador of Iran to Sri Lanka expressed his fullest cooperation to strengthen the bilateral relations. The railway department says that the shortage of fuel has not hindered train services. And on international news, Ukraine's president says Russian soldiers are confused children. President's Media Division reports that Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpilla and Industries Minister Vimal Veeravansha have been removed from their ministerial portfolios. The decision had been taken this evening, and the President has also taken measures to reshuffle the cabinet. Accordingly, parliamentarian S.B. Dissanayake had sworn in as the new Minister of Industries. Minister Pavitra Wanyarachi had sworn in as the Minister of Power, and Minister Gami Lokuge as Minister of Energy. Ukraine and Russia are set for a second round of talks to end the ongoing crisis nearly a week into the invasion that has left hundreds dead on both sides. Senior U.S. defense officials say the continued military aggression is frustrating, and they are seeking options to defuse the situation. Defense Department Press Secretary John Kirby said that the northern push by the Russians down towards the south towards Kyiv remains stalled. He says Ukrainian resistance has stalled Russia's advance. He added it's been more than Russian leaders expected, and they are taking time to regroup and reassess. The UN Human Rights Agency says it's so far confirmed the deaths of at least 227 Ukrainian civilians, but Ukrainian authorities say the toll has been significantly higher at more than 2,000. Russia's defense ministry released for the first time its own casualty report. It says 498 of its troops have been killed, but the Ukrainian president told his people the number sits closer to 6,000. Russian negotiators say they've arrived in the border area between Belarus and Poland, where talks will take place. And Ukrainians say they are on its way. The first round of talks ended without agreement. The high-level Sri Lanka delegation attending the 49th session of the Human Rights Council, led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor G.L. Pires, met with the delegations of Pakistan, Palestine, South Africa, Saudi Arabia and Egypt on Tuesday. At the meeting with the Foreign Minister of Palestine, Rizad al-Maliki, Minister Pires observed that the relations between Palestine and Sri Lanka were one of the pillars of the foreign policy of Sri Lanka. During the meeting with the Federal Minister for Human Rights of Pakistan, Shireen M. Mazari, Minister Pires expressed appreciation on the long-standing and steadfast friendship and the multifaceted relations between Sri Lanka and Pakistan, which encompassed education, culture and trade. The minister also held a productive meeting with the Minister of International Relations of South Africa, Dr. Naledi Pandor, during which Sri Lanka's ongoing efforts towards reconciliation, unity and learning from the rich experience of South Africa's truth-seeking and reconciliation mechanisms were discussed. Foreign Minister Pires also held discussions with the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs of Egypt, Khalid El Bakri, during which the Egyptian Vice Minister expressed understanding on the position articulated by Professor Pires during his statement earlier in the day at the high-level segment of the Human Rights Council. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
The chairman of the Laughs Gas PLC WKH Vagapitiya says the company is trying its best to provide uninterrupted LP gas supply to the country by the letter of credit LC facilities. He said the Laughs Gas PLC is utilizing $15 to $20 million LC facilities per 1 month. It is also reported the central bank is to instruct state-owned banks to extend letter of credit facilities to Laughs Gas PLC, which is struggling to procure LP gas LPG shipments amid the ongoing foreign exchange crisis. The ambassador of Iran to Sri Lanka, Hashim Azjazadeh, has met with the secretary to the Ministry of Defence today. At the meeting, the ambassador has expressed his fullest cooperation to strengthen the bilateral relations of the two countries. The Railway Department says that shortage of fuel has not hindered train services. Deputy General Manager of Railways, Gamini Seneviratne, said that there is no truth of reports published over social media stating that the train services have been disrupted due to the fuel shortage. Therefore, he requested train commuters not to get misled by rumours spread by various persons and groups. That ends local news for now.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honour our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi 60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The President's Media Division reports that Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpilla and Industries Minister Vimal Weeravansha have been removed from their ministerial portfolios. The decision had been taken this evening and the President had also taken measures to reshuffle the cabinet. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight tonight, the High Commission of India, Colombo, invites applications for the following ICCR scholarships for 2022 to 2023 academic sessions. The selection of candidates is done in consultation with the Ministry of Education, Government of Sri Lanka to pursue undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in some of the topmost universities in India. The necessary details are available in the website of the Ministry of Education at www.mohe.gov.lk. Prospective students are advised to approach the Ministry of Education Sri Lanka or High Commission of India, Colombo, to learn more about the eligibility criteria and selection procedure. That was Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines first. The Ukrainian port city of Mariupol under siege and water and electricity cut off. A Ukrainian delegation meets with Russian officials for a second round of negotiations today. Ukraine's president says Russian soldiers are confused children. The residents of the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol have told the BBC they are trying to survive a relentless barrage of Russian shelling. They have told the BBC that there had been no light, no heat and no water, now for 2 full days, and that they have hardly any food left. It is also reported food and medicine was not moving in Mariupol now. However, the local government tried to give bread and water. Meanwhile, an investigation into possible war crimes in Ukraine has been launched after Russia was accused of bombing civilians. The International Criminal Court, ICC, Chief Prosecutor said evidence was being collected on alleged war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide. It came after 39 nations called for an inquiry to be opened. A Ukrainian delegation will meet the Russian officials later today for a second round of negotiations. Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolak has said. Podolak confirmed in a statement online that the Ukrainian delegations were on its way to the discussions via helicopter. Ukrainian negotiator David Akramania said on Facebook that the talks would begin at about 1400 GMT. He added Kyiv plans to discuss setting up humanitarian corridors before moving on to other issues. Arkamya's remarks came after the Belarusian state news agency Belta quoted chief Russian negotiator Vladimir Medinsky as saying the second round of talks would start in the coming hours. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has told Russian forces to leave, describing troops sent to invade his country by President Vladimir Putin as confused children. Zelensky called on Ukrainians to keep up the resistance and vowed the invaders would have not one quiet moment. He said that they will have no peace in Ukraine, calling on the Russian soldiers to go home and describing them as confused children who have been misused. Zelensky said 16,000 foreigners have volunteered to fight for Ukraine. Speaking in a video address, the Ukrainian Presidential Office said the first of the thousands of soldiers have arrived in Ukraine and came to defend liberty and their lives. Back to the world news headlines. Ukrainian port city of Mariupol under siege and water and electricity cut off. A Ukrainian delegation meets with Russian officials for a second round of negotiations today. Ukraine's president says Russian soldiers are confused children. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
On development news, the export of coconuts and related products has earned $850 million last year. The Plantation Industries Minister Ramesh Patirana said Sri Lanka produces 3 billion coconuts annually, of which 2 billion are used for domestic consumption. He said the island had earned the highest export earnings in the history of plantation industry. He added Sri Lanka has the potential to grow this revenue annually as there is a huge demand for Sri Lankan coconut products in the world market today. That ends development news.
Development News was brought to you by... The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by...
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Sri Lanka Squash SLS, under the guidance of Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs Nama Rajapaksa, Sri Lanka National Sports Council, have provided players with Professional Squash Association memberships. It will enable them to take part in PSA-sanctioned tournaments. The PSA tournaments are played by professional squash players all over the world. The membership has been extended to 6 national players, including Ravindu Laksiri, holder of the title for 9 straight years, and Fadum Izzadeen for 3 successive years, enabling them to take part in all eligible PSA tournaments. Sri Lanka Squash hosted the first PSA satellite tournament in Sri Lanka, enabling the Sri Lankan squash players to participate and claim international rankings points in the world. That came to you in Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP You Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The DFCC Junior had hosted the Junior Art Workshop to celebrate and nurture the artistic ability and talent of children across the island. The workshop was conducted free of charge and was open for children from the ages of 7 to 18. The event was hosted online on Independence Day with the main aim of developing the children's ability to paint, draw and colour. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by...
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, the tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka for the month of February topped 96,000, recording an increase of 17% from the previous month. It was reported February arrivals had totaled 96,507 and had an average daily arrival rate of 3,446 for the 28 days of the month. In January, the total number of arrivals was recorded as 82,327, where the average daily arrival was 2,655. That was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And now to conclude the weather report, the low-pressure area over southwest Bay of Bengal and adjoining southeast Bay of Bengal has intensified to a depression and located 470 kilometers to the southeast of Trincomalee coast today. It is very likely to intensify into a deep depression during the next 24 hours and expected to move northwestwards along the east coast of Sri Lanka towards North Tamil Nadu coast during the next 48 hours. Showers will occur at times in the northern, north central and eastern provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the southern, central and Uva provinces during the evening or night. A few showers may occur in the western and northwestern coastal areas during the morning. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the northern province and in the Trincomalee district. That was the weather report. And now in this news broadcast, the main points once again. Uday Gammanpilla and Vimal Viravansha have been removed from their ministerial portfolios. Ukraine and Russia prepare for second round of talks as battle continues. The foreign minister meets UN Human Rights Commissioner. The Lavs Gas Company is trying its best to provide uninterrupted LP gas supply. The ambassador of Iran to Sri Lanka expressed his fullest cooperation to strengthen the bilateral relations. The Railway Department says that the shortage of fuel has not hindered train services. And on international news, Ukraine's president says Russian soldiers are confused children. That ends this news broadcast.